Speaking about David Hess, Brian Roberts joins us. And Brian, what have you seen from David Hess this season so far?
Well, you know, his first two outings, obviously the first one in relief against the Yankees, no runs. And then in Toronto, he was outstanding, 6 1/3 no-hit innings. Since then, it's certainly been a little bit of a battle. The biggest problem has been the long ball, and we know that that's been an issue to an extent with a lot of the Orioles pitchers. He's given up 8 home runs. 13 of his 21 runs allowed have come via the home run. So really the biggest thing for me is keep the ball out of the center of the plate. I said the same thing about Dylan Bundy the other night. He needs to begin to work the corners. We saw it from John Means last night, right? And a lot of times in our game today, guys want to go up and down so much more than they do in and out. Hess has actually had really good success with his sinker this year. They're hitting 100 on balls in play, 1 for 10. Now on the slider's been his biggest problem. They're hitting 300, over 300 with 3 home runs against it. It hasn't been the put-away pitch that he really needs it to be. So work the corners and try to get that slider down and away to the right-handed hitters.
Rick, why doesn't he back off the slider? Hess.
Why doesn't he?
Yeah.
Well, he thinks it's an out pitch for him. He's got to get it in his mind, you know, what his 2 best pitches are. And I think for him, right, that sinker, as Brian was talking about, they haven't hit it yet. I know he went up to Toronto and he pitched that no-hit performance that he had up there, but he had a lot of hitters swinging at pitches that were up in the strike zone. I've just kind of got lucky, not lucky, but you know, when you're up in the zone, almost every single hitter, like he was in Toronto, and they didn't get any big hits off him, you got to consider that a fortunate night. Against the rest of the league, they're looking for something up in the strike zone. They're hitting a lot of home runs off him. The best pitch in the game, as Brian said before, too, fastball down and away. He's got to learn to stay down, change speeds. He can do that with that changeup that he has and the cut fastball. I like the two-seamer that he has, and start to reorchestrate himself again, a lot like Bundy did and a lot like Means did last night. Changing speeds against these is the key for him, and keeping it down when you have to, which is most of the game.
So David Hess starts for the Orioles tonight, but how about Michael Givens last night? Now, Givens got the last 4 outs, 2-1 strikeouts, earned his 4th save. Brian, what did you see from Michael Givens?
Well, Givens has been terrific. You know, he had a couple bumps in the road early on where he gave up a home run to Avisel Garcia in Tampa Bay, and then he gave up a home run here at home. But other than that, he's been phenomenal. Last night he came in with a man on second and Mookie Betts. You know, what Brandon Hyde has said is he's going to use Michael Givens in the biggest situations in the game. It doesn't really matter whether it's the 7th, the 8th, or the 9th, and that is what he's done. He's been terrific. Over his last 10 outings, 12 strikeouts, only a 1.8 ERA, 0.8 whip. His strikeouts are through the roof again because he's locating his fastball, and that slider, when he pitches off with a fastball, is devastating. So he's one of only 5 pitchers in the major leagues with at least 3 holds and 3 saves, which means he's coming in crucial situations, whether it's the 8th or the 9th, and he's getting the job done. And
to back up what you're saying, he, along with Paul Fry, have not given up a runner that's been on base when they came into the ball game, right?
You know, he is really devastating. He's got that slingy action, a sidearm. And when he finishes off his shot, watch this right here, how he follows it all the way through to his target. And look at this break down on the outside corner. That's getting Mookie Betts. See, he finishes low and he finishes looking right at his target. When he comes up a hair too soon and he doesn't finish it off, it flies up and in. You see, that's the one where the wild pitch up and in. It almost hits most of the hitters. And he loses that release point. He is really not very good. He's dangerous up there because he throws way too hard to be that wild. But when he is focused and staying down, finishing off the breaking ball, finishing off his fastball, he's as tough as anybody in baseball to hit.
Now, Brian, when you look at what Betts has done against the Orioles here at Camden Yards, I mean, it's almost unbelievable. The Orioles pitchers seemed like last night they had his number. What did you see there?
Well, John Means had everybody's number last night, and the key to getting any good hitter out is keeping them off balance, right? That's the job of a pitcher, is to keep a hitter off balance and to keep the ball off the barrel of the bat. Well, John Means continued to locate in and out. He changed speeds, right? When you can change speeds, then you keep a hitter from being really comfortable. So that's going to be the biggest thing. Look, Mookie Betts is going to get his hits. J.D. Martinez, they're going to get their hits. They're good hitters. It doesn't matter what the ballpark is. It doesn't matter who's pitching. It's just a matter of trying to contain them. Don't let them get 3 or 4 hits. Allow them to get 1, maybe 2, but keep them in the ballpark. That's going to be the biggest thing. So for David Hess, change speeds, move them in and out, get the feet moving, don't stay consistent in one spot.
Always great insight from Brian Roberts and Rick, and Brian's working the radio tonight when the Orioles play the Boston Red Sox.